Hello and welcome to Create22, the very first video. I am so excited about the next 9 months that we are going to be walking through together. I'm so excited about you embarking on your own creative journey. I'm going to say a little more in a few moments about what Create22 is, how I conceived it, what its structure will be, and also a little bit about what you're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks before our first workshop. But first, let me say, I want to just talk a little bit about this idea of excitement. I do feel wildly excited about this group, about this course, about this program, and about being part of it with you. So much so that this is about the 5th time I have started this video, because I keep waving my arms around so much that I knock things over, and you will get used to that during our workshops together. So I was thinking about this feeling of excitement that feels to me to be quite a lot like a little fire, quite a lot like a little spark. For me, that's very close to creative inspiration. I suppose what some people will call inspiration, that seems slippery, that people often, that endless question at writers' festivals, where do you get your ideas? But people do often ask, I'm sure they've asked you, where did you get the inspiration? And often that's mysterious. Where does the inspiration come from? And as I said, for me, that feels very close to a sort of tremulous feeling of excitement. And I've learned over decades to really notice when I feel it, to notice when that spark is lit. This month, this first month in Create22, it's all about igniting, all about that beginning, that spark, the ember that we breathe on to create a whole work, to create a book, a play, an album, a film, a life. So I want to take some time to really think about that spark, about where that is for you, where that is located for you. Every story begins with a spark. And of course, sometimes the difficulty is in retracing, where did that spark come from? Now, I want to, first of all, ahead of our first workshop together in 2 weeks, can't wait, I want you to, I invite you to begin to think about what sparks your creativity. Not necessarily right now about the project that you are going to embark on or be working on during our time together, but generally, what is it that sparks your creativity? I invite you to take a moment now to reflect on some of those moments that you are really on fire creatively, when you're breathless with an idea, or writing without pause, or editing with real clarity. We'll start to look and notice, look at common elements over the next few months to really record what you need to create. But just for right now, I want you to focus on one moment, zoom in, if you like, on one moment when you have felt creatively lit up, on fire, sparking. What were the circumstances? Where were you? What did that sparking feel like? Can you think about what surrounded you? Was it silent? Was it noisy? What led to that moment beforehand? Try to really locate where that feeling was. For instance, for me, it's always in my solar plexus. I don't know why. I hear about someone from 200 or 300 years ago, or someone from yesterday, and I can feel a little in my solar plexus. I know that that's a little spark that I need to attend to. So what were your circumstances when you had that creatively lit feeling? Now, just jot down some of the things that surrounded you, what the feeling was, where, if you can, where it was located. And then if you feel led, I invite you to just write a paragraph or so. Just take a couple of minutes, pause me, because I will keep talking. Pause me and write just for 2 minutes or so about that spark, about where it was, what it felt like. Try to write without lifting your pen from the paper. So if you're feeling it, press pause on the video now and just take 2 minutes to just write. If you need a sentence to start with, try this. I was on fire because. Now, you either paused there or you didn't. You've either come back to me or you never stopped. And that might be something that you return to later. This idea of beginning to really notice where your own spark is. And then in particular, when we're looking at your bigger project that you might embark on or be working on, where is the spark for that project? Because when you start to lose your way later on, that's part of the process. Retracing to where was that spark? That is your golden key. It's the thing that we will continue to return to. Where was the spark? Because that's how you begin to notice that is the core of the thing that matters to me. Now, this idea of the spark, which does start every story. It starts everything. It's the Big Bang, the spark, life itself. So that process of really noticing, oh, I had that idea. I heard someone talking about a woman who had been a muse to a composer in Paris in the 18th century. And I could feel that little, that feeling of tremulousness. So that's one way of really harnessing that spark. That almost seems a bit random. I don't know why I am sparked by that idea, but I am. But there's another way too, and that's what I want us to think about and look at over the next 2 weeks ahead of our first workshop. And that is to provide some magical opportunities for you to breathe on those embers, wherever they are, and bring them to life. So over the next 2 weeks, I'm actually going to invite you to each day. It's not obligatory, it's entirely optional, but it's an invitation. I want to invite you over the next 2 weeks to come to the website, and every morning on the website, there will be a generative writing prompt or exercise. Now, if you've done the immersion program with me, you'll see, there I go, waving my arms around. I've just smacked my microphone. So again, you will get used to that. I wave my hands around so much. Can't help. No, I probably could. So back to the prompts. So if you were part of the immersion program, you will be familiar with the process of generative writing prompts or exercises. And if you didn't do the immersion program, that's fine. We're just going to do the first 2 weeks of Create. So this is what will happen every morning or evening, whenever it is your little allocated time. You will come onto the website and you will click on the day, and the generative prompt or writing exercise will appear. I want to suggest then that you know, in keeping with that idea of the igniting that spark, when the prompt comes up, take a moment, take a deep breath, read the prompt or the generative writing exercise. Now, when I say generative writing exercise, what I mean is it's not about craft. We will be doing in Create, we will be looking at craft and technique. This is not about that. This is just about, let's see what's there. Let's see what's sparking. Let's see if there's some fire in this idea. So that's what I mean by generative. You start writing and you just see where it goes. You keep your pen on the page. I have to demonstrate. You keep your pen on the page, you keep writing. I do suggest that for this, if you can, that you write longhand for that kind of wildfire connection between hand and mind. So you read the prompt or the starter and just give yourself 10 minutes. You can take longer, you can give yourself 20 minutes. We'll talk in a little down the track about some hacks for managing time and managing obstacles. But one of them is really allocating a short, sharp shock of time. So set a timer, 10 to 15 minutes or 20, and look at the website, read the writing prompt, and then just see where that prompt leads you. So some of them will be a sentence that you will begin with. It was nighttime in the city. She always thought that. Others will be a scenario. Write something underneath the water. Write a situation of someone receiving a gift. And others will be more structured instructions. It's just for 2 weeks. And it is my hope that this 2 weeks of these kind of generative little sparks will mean that when you show up, when we're together in that first workshop, that you'll have a little bit of a fire burning and you will be reorientated with your own creativity, ready for us to really leap in and let the fire begin. Create22 is about narrative. It is about the process of writing a whole narrative, a whole book, a whole project. But it is also, I will say, structured as a narrative. So each month actually is focused on an element of the narrative moment that we will go through together and that you as the writer will be going through. And I'll talk more about that during our first workshop as well. So for now, let me say again, I'm excited about going into this story, into this narrative, into this adventure with you. And I'm excited to see what your sparks ignite. And really looking forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.